Всем привет and welcome to the final tutorial of my Russian Cases Unlocked marathon. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you how I work with my students with these extended cases that you saw in the chart in the last several videos. If you're part of the marathon, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know, please go to the playlist and go step by step. But in the last 6 tutorials, we've been working with extended context for each case. And I kept saying, it's a lot for beginners and you really have to be working with it step by step. So in this video, I'm gonna offer, as I said, some tips and tricks on how to do it. Before we do that, I just wanna thank one person. Right now, it's summer 2025, and that's when I launched my tutorials. And I'll be honest with you, it was a lot of work, a lot more than I really envisioned. I really underestimated, how much time I would be putting into it. And sometimes I was like that close to quitting. But there was one active participant this summer, actually my only active participant this summer. And I just know this participant's name is Lydia. And Lydia, I just would like to thank you for being consistent, for doing the tasks, for posting comments and really good questions. I really hope these tutorials were useful for you. And I just want to say thank you. And I also want to offer you a one-on-one free tutoring session just as a thank you. It's not a campaign that somebody could win something, just from me to you. And I actually don't do tutoring. I'm a full-time mom with a full-time job. I just don't have time for that. But I thought it would be a good present for you and just to express my gratitude. And you can ask questions that I'm sure you still have even after going through all of these tutorials. So connect with me in the comments and we'll take it from there. For everybody else, please keep learning and watch this video to know how to make the most out of that big chart that I shared with you. Let's start.
If you like it, please click like. If it's useful, drop a line. If you love it, hit subscribe. Like me, подпишись и комментарий напиши.
So first thing I'm gonna say, and I said it already in multiple videos, but this is not the chart that you just sit down and learn in a very short period of time. With my students, we go back to this chart all the time. It's always printed, they have it in their folders in every class, and sometimes we really work on this chart consciously, where we look at the rule and try to kind of like understand it again, come up with the examples. And sometimes we work backwards. Let me switch to my desktop camera and I'll show you what I mean. So one of the things that you can do is whenever you're reading something in Russian, or you can just grab a book that's in Russian, you open it anywhere or wherever you're reading it, and then you look at the page and just try to figure out the cases that are used here. For example, here we have: поэтому сегодня мы потратили целый час жизни на разучивание самой дебильной в мире песни. So in English that means, that's why today we spend a whole hour of our life for learning the most idiotic song in the world. So we can see here that we have мы, we have час жизни, разучивание, мире, and песни. So these are our nouns, and we can figure out what they are. So целый час, we saw that when something lasts for a whole hour, that would be our accusative. And the hour of our life, that would be genitive. Then we have на, разучивание самой дебильной в мире песни. На plus разучивание, and that's the learning. And here you can, you might not know what case to use here, but if you look up this word, you will see that this is the default form. And you know that it cannot be nominative, because who spent the whole hour? We did. That's our nominative. So this one looks like nominative, so it must be accusative. And then of the song, that's genitive, and самый дебильный goes with the form песни, and then в мире, in the world, where it's a fixed location, so that would be prepositional. Oh, and actually here, look at that. Мы три дерева. So 3 plus genitive singular. So there you go. You just basically open anything and just see what you can figure out. Or we can take an English book. I'm just taking a random books from my kids, open up on a random page, and let's see what we can see here. Okay, so on the way to the park, I tell Sir Teddy about Baba. So on the way to the park, so you can look up по пути, that would be on the way to the park. That's our destination, V plus accusative case. I tell Sir Teddy, whoever I say something to is dative, about Baba. After about, we use the prepositional case. So there you go. So you can keep doing it with, so you just like grab a text and then you have the chart right next to you and you figure out what case it would be based on the context. Okay, let me switch. Okay, here I'm back. So that would be two already. So first one is you grab the chart and you kind of like going through it consciously, like selecting a rule and thinking about it, trying to commit it to your memory. And second one is grabbing random books or something that you're doing for class or something you're listening to in a podcast and you're reading the transcript. Just select one sentence and make your way kind of like backwards from it. Yeah, trying to figure out which context these words correspond to. Okay, so the next thing is, and let me pull it up here. Okay, so here it is, and that's my Quizlet channel, and that's from my previous channel, Random Russian Lessons. So here I have a couple of flashcard sets where you have different tasks with cases. For instance, here the task is find nominative nouns and explain the context for case usage. So for example, here у моего брата есть жена и дети. You look at it and you decide where is nominative here and why it is here. And when you flip the card, the rule is whatever we have is nominative. So here it's жена and дети, жена и дети. У моих родителей есть большой дом. Same rule. Whatever we have, большой дом. That's the nominative and the subject of a sentence. Мне нравится этот дом. So here nominative is whatever we like or don't like. So here that would be этот дом. And you make your way through it. Then I also have context usage one after another. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. For example, whatever we have, nominative. Whatever we like or don't like, nominative. And this list goes in order, but I also have one in random order. Okay, so for example, whoever is allowed or not allowed to do something, that would be dative. And after po, meaning every with the time of the day or day of the week in plural, that would be also dative. When indicating moving in a vehicle, that would be prepositional. Or destinations that use na, meaning to some place, that would be accusative, and so on. So I will add these links. And the next task is something that my students like doing a lot. Let me show you. Just a second, I'm going to pull up that PowerPoint. Okay, here it is, and I call it 6 cases. And the activity is that I ask my students to come up with one sentence that has only one verb, but has all of the 6 cases. So you really have to work your way through the chart to come up with these sentences. So let me give you some examples. So here we have, в субботу на прошлой неделе Иван гулял по парку с собакой своей бабушки. Which means last week on Saturday, Ivan took a walk in the park with his grandmother's dog. Okay, let's take a look what we have here. So nominative is Ivan, because he's the subject of a sentence. Because who took a walk in the park? Ivan did. Genitive is своей бабушки, or his grandma's, because it's his grandma apostrophe s dog. We have dative по парку, because по takes dative, and по парку is like here and there and maybe there, no particular motion. Accusative is в субботу, because the context is on a specific day of the week. Instrumental is с собакой. С plus instrumental when it's joint action. And in English, I know you're saying to walk the dog. So the dog is basically the indirect object. But in Russian, we say to walk with the dog as a joint action. And finally, the prepositional was на прошлой неделе, when something happened in a specific week, takes the prepositional case. Okay, here's another example. Благодаря своему лучшему другу мой брат уже целый год занимается математикой в клубе школы. My brother has been in the school math club for a whole year, thanks to his best friend. And remember, these are definitely not beginner sentences. I'm just giving you an idea of what you can do. But even as beginners, you can start kind of like constructing the sentences like a Lego set, putting it all together. And through that, you will learn the cases so much better. Okay, so then they have here, yeah, nominative is the subject of a sentence, мой брат. Genitive is the word school, because school club, this is definition by another noun. We can say it different ways, but we can also say it в клубе, школы. Dative, sorry, I got lost where my thing was. So dative was своему лучшему другу, because it has the preposition благодаря in front of it, and that goes with dative. Accusative is целый год. When something lasts for a specific period of time, that's just accusative, no prepositions needed. And he has been in the school math club for a whole year. Then instrumental is математикой, because the verb заниматься takes the instrumental case with whatever it is we're busy with or whatever it is we study. And the location prepositional is в клубе. He's doing it at the club or in the club, in the school club. And school will be genitive because it's the definition for the club expressed by another noun. Okay, one more. Понедельник. В начале лекции преподаватель сказал нам поспорить с ним. So on Monday, the start of the lecture, the professor told us to argue with him. So here again, we have, nominative is the subject of a sentence, and that's преподаватель. Genitive is at the beginning of the lecture. Lecture is going to be genitive. Dative, and who is whoever we say something to. He told us, whoever we say something to is dative. Accusative, в понедельник, on a specific day of the week. Instrumental, с ним, with him, it just goes together. And prepositional, в начале, at the beginning. So the word beginning is going to be in the prepositional case. So as you can see here, we always have nominative. But remember, in Russian, we can also have sentences where we don't have the subject of a sentence. So here is another example. В субботу моему брату нужно встретиться с родителями его девушки в ресторане. On Saturday, my brother needs to meet his girlfriend's parents at a restaurant. So here we do not have nominative. In English, we have the subject of a sentence. Who needs to meet? My brother does. But in Russian, whoever needs to do something is dative. And says my brother needs something, that would be the dative. So then genitive is его девушки, because it's his girlfriend, apostrophe s parents. And в субботу is again accusative, because something happens on a specific day of the week. Instrumental с родителями, because with, and prepositional is в plus location в ресторане. So there you go. So that is a good kind of like exercise. Or here is one more idea for you. So I call it the Russian Cases Daily Streak, where you set aside 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending, if you're a beginner, probably let's make it 10. But you set aside like several minutes a day to practice Russian cases by creating that sentence with one verb and 6 different cases. Or if you can see it here, I say a random combination of cases. And I'll show it to you in a second what I mean here. But once you come up with that sentence, you can post it in the comments to this video. And if you keep your daily streak going, your knowledge of cases will definitely improve. And I will be helping you by giving you feedback to these sentences. Okay, let me show you what I mean by when I say the random combination of cases, but I will need to switch to my other camera again. Okay, here's what we can do. So I have 2 dice, and I'm gonna roll 1. Okay, and it has 5. Okay, so I will need 5 cases. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have another dice that has genitive, dative, accusative, instrumental, prepositional, and here I have no nominative or dative. So all of your sentences should have nominative. But sometimes you can give yourself another challenge by saying no nominative, or practice one of other 5 cases more. So here I put dative. So let's see what we'll have. Okay, so that's dative. We will have a dative case. Instrumental. Another instrumental. Ooh, no nominative or dative. I'll just write it here and then I'll decide. No nominative or dative, so a second dative. And prepositional. Okay, so I'm gonna put the video on pause and I'm gonna go through my chart to figure out what I can do with these cases, and then I'll show it to you in a second. All right, I came up with something. So I decided to use the non-nominative here, and I decided to use dative as whoever needs something, instrumental as s plus, so need, and another preposition, period. And here I decide to use the o, and non-nominative. Okay, so I have моим родителям, my parents, нужно, need, поговорить, to talk, со мной, with me, о моих оценках, about my grades. Oh, sorry. Перед экзаменом. Before the exam. My parents need to talk with me about my grades before the exam. So here we have моим родителям нужно, so that's our dative, because they are whoever needs something. Поговорить со мной, with me, that's our instrumental because of the с. О моих оценках, so this is our prepositional because it's about. Перед экзаменом, instrumental because of перед, before the exam. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so we really got to the end of this marathon, and I think we covered a lot. At the beginning, I explained to you kind of like the concept of using cases in the Russian language, and then we looked at 3 basic contexts for all of the 6 cases, and then we worked through the charts that will help you figure out which endings to use. And then we did a bunch of sentences, and then we worked with the extended cases, and there were also a couple of videos that were completely about like English grammar terms that will help you understand the Russian grammar terms. So all in all, I really hope it was useful for you. It's been a pleasure creating these tutorials. I know my students will be probably using it just because that's how I teach in my classrooms, and sometimes if they miss the class, they can get all of these explanations in these videos. So that was actually my main reason for creating these tutorials, because I often understand that it's hard to follow everything in the classroom, and I teach at the university, so we move through everything pretty fast. So, but I hope everyone who has been watching this whole series also benefited from it, and your knowledge of the Russian cases has only become better. Okay, thank you so much, and keep learning Russian. Пока-пока.